Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we've got another lesson all about food and eating.
So today we're going to talk about all the tools that we use when we're at the table. So what we use when we're eating.
That's right. So let's take a listen to today's dialogue, and when we come back, we'll talk about some of these words and some of the great phrases you're learning today.
Honey, can you set the table?
Sure. What are we having for dinner? Do I need to put anything out in particular?
Well, make sure to put out the pepper and salt shakers. I don't know if your brother is coming tonight, so set an extra placemat just in case.
Okay, should I use the fancy silverware?
Yeah, go ahead. Forks, spoons, and knives. I roasted some meat, so be sure to put out some steak knives as well.
I'll also set some cups and saucers for some coffee after dinner.
Honey, have you seen our soup bowls?
They're in the cupboard where you keep the gravy boat and serving dishes. Just be careful because the wine glasses are also the...
Oops.
All right, we're back. So now let's take a look at a couple of words in language takeaway.
Language takeaway.
So our first word is a very important one. You might have heard it before. The word is silverware.
Okay, silverware. Now, this means that it's usually made something that's made out of silver, right?
It could be. Maybe traditionally it's made out of silver, but it doesn't have to be. You could have wooden silverware or other metals. It's basically the things that you use to eat food with.
Okay, so we're going to take this as a category. Silverware are all the tools that we use to eat food with. And in this, so for example, a fork is a part of a silverware.
It's a kind of silverware, fork. A fork is the one that you usually put in your mouth with a piece of lettuce or meat or something.
Okay, so it's pointy. It has like 4 little points. Mm-hmm. Now, the one that we use to have dessert or to have soup with, we call that a spoon.
A spoon, that's right. So to eat yogurt or ice cream, you use a spoon. And finally, to cut things, you use a knife.
Okay, so in the dialogue, we saw the plural form, knives, but singular, it would be knife.
That's right. And sometimes there are foods that are very, very hard to cut. For example, steak is very hard to cut because it's a tough meat. And so in that case, we use a steak knife to cut it.
Okay, so we have a knife or a steak knife. Steak knife, more specifically, is used to cut meats.
All right, so these are 3 kinds, or actually 4 kinds of silverware. Of course, there are other kinds, but those are the most important. After that, though, we have something that's important for making your food taste better. So what if I want to add salt or pepper? What are those things called?
Those are called salt and pepper shakers. We saw them in the dialogue that we need to put out the pepper and salt shakers. So the little thing where you keep the salt is called a shaker.
That's right, because the action, the verb, is to shake. That means moving your hand up and down so some salt will fall out onto your food.
Exactly. So usually it's only salt and pepper that we keep in these things, in these little shakers. Mm-hmm. But apart from salt and pepper shakers, when all the silverware we're putting out, we're also putting out some saucers because we're going to have coffee later on.
Okay, so this normally goes together with cups and saucers, but everyone knows what a cup is. What is a saucer?
So a saucer is this little plate that you put under the cup when you're having coffee. So usually that's where you keep your spoon or maybe the little bag of tea.
Okay, so a saucer is important because it also helps in case you spill some coffee or tea, so the coffee or tea doesn't go on the ground, it goes on the plate.
Exactly. So that little plate is called a saucer. Now, where do we keep all the plates, all the silverware? We usually keep them in a cupboard.
Okay, so you might want to say cupboard because it's cup, C-U-P-B-O-A-R-D. That's not right. The word is pronounced cupboard.
Okay, so even though it may seem like you should pronounce cupboard, the correct pronunciation is
cupboard.
Cupboard.
Cupboard. And a cupboard, like you said, is usually in the dining room or the kitchen because it keeps all of our plates and bowls and sometimes our silverware.
That's right. Okay, so actually in the cupboard we also have some other things, dishes. Specifically, we have a gravy boat in there.
Okay, so I'm not even sure why they call it a boat, but a gravy boat is basically a special dish. It's like a tall bowl with a spout, so you can pour it, that keeps gravy. So gravy is like a liquid or a sauce that goes on top of meat or potatoes.
I guess it kind of looks like a boat. Just imagine a boat, but inside it's empty. So then that's where you put the gravy in.
You pour it.
You can pour it.
All right, and so we can find that. We can also find serving dishes, which are basically big plates or bowls that we use when we're having dinner at the dinner table to keep, for example, a turkey or a roast.
Mm-hmm. And specifically, we were also looking for wine glasses.
Well, maybe we weren't looking for them, but they found us because the person getting stuff out of the cupboard dropped some wine glasses. These are very, very easy to break. Wine glasses are basically just glasses that maybe are tall and you drink wine out of them.
That's right. So there's a specific type of glass usually used to drink wine. So wine glasses. I guess a normal glass that you use to drink maybe juice or water is just called a glass.
Right. You wouldn't say wine glass. Only when you're drinking wine. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've taken a look at a lot of vocab here, a lot of tools that we use at the dinner table when we're having dinner. So let's listen to the dialogue again and review.
Honey, can you set the table?
Sure. What are we having for dinner? Do I need to put anything out in particular?
Well, make sure to put out the pepper and salt shakers. I don't know if your brother is coming tonight, so set an extra placemat just in case.
Okay, should I use the fancy silverware?
Yeah, go ahead. Forks, spoons, and knives. I roasted some meat, so be sure to put out some steak knives as well.
I'll also set some cups and saucers for some coffee after dinner.
Honey, have you seen our soup bowls?
They're in the cupboard where you keep the gravy boat and serving dishes. Just be careful because the wine glasses are also the...
Oops.
All right, we're back. So now we have 4 key phrases that we've prepared for you on Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
Okay, so this first phrase is very important, especially as a child. Your mother or father might ask you to do this. The phrase is to set the table.
Okay, so that's a phrasal verb, to set the table. And what does it mean if you're asked to set the table?
It means you will put down the plates and the silverware and the bowls so that everything is prepared for dinner.
Okay, so this is actually what we were doing, and a complementary phrasal verb to this. When you're setting the table, as you said, you are putting down or putting out the different spoons, knives, dishes, all that stuff.
Right. So the verbal phrase to put out means to place down or to make sure that you get something out on the table. In this case, my mother would usually ask me to put out extra glasses for water. Okay. Or don't forget to put out the wine glasses in case we're drinking wine. It just means to place down.
Exactly. So just remember that it's we use it because all these things, they're inside the cupboard. Mm-hmm. So you have to take them out. So you have to put them out on the table. All right, and sometimes we may have a guest or we may need an extra chair or an extra seat because we're having company. And the person in the dialogue said to set an extra placemat just in case.
Okay, so placemat is basically a piece of plastic or maybe fabric that you put in front of a person when they're at the table. So it's on the table, and it's something that protects the table. So it's small, everyone has one, and the bowl and the silverware will go on top of that placemat. But it also indicates that that is where someone will sit. Mm-hmm. Okay, so to put out or to set out an extra placemat means to prepare an extra place for someone else who will be coming. So if you have a guest, for example, you'll set out an extra placemat for him or for her.
Okay, so we can say set an extra placemat because by this we're referring that somebody is going to sit down at the table, or you can just simply say set an extra place for someone.
That's right. Set an extra place. Your older brother is coming home from college tonight.
Okay. So we can set an extra place for him at the table. And, well, in this case, we didn't know if the brother was really coming or not. So she said, just in case.
This is a great phrase, one that you'll hear all the time. It means I'm not sure what the result will be or what the outcome will be, but in case something happens, or just in case we should do this. So, for example, Marco, I think it's going to rain today. You should bring an umbrella just in case.
Okay, so this is a way of saying you're preventing something, you're prepared. Maybe if it does rain, you'll have an umbrella. Just in case, bring your umbrella. Okay, so a lot of great phrases there, a lot of vocab, so why don't we listen to the dialogue for the last time?
Honey, can you set the table?
Sure. What are we having for dinner? Do I need to put anything out in particular?
Well, make sure to put out the pepper and salt shakers. I don't know if your brother is coming tonight, so set an extra placemat just in case.
Okay, should I use the fancy silverware?
Yeah, go ahead. Forks, spoons, and knives. I roasted some meat, so be sure to put out some steak knives as well.
I'll also set some cups and saucers for some coffee after dinner.
Honey, have you seen our soup bowls?
They're in the cupboard where you keep the gravy boat and serving dishes. Just be careful because the wine glasses are also the...
Oops.
All right, we're back. So talking about dinner and silverware, there are also a couple of other names that we didn't mention. For example, many people refer to ceramic plates as china.
Yeah, these are usually the fancy kinds of plates and dishes that you have in your house. Obviously, if you have just kind of the cheap ceramics that you can throw away, or even paper plates, those aren't very important. But at a wedding or in a special occasion, a person or family might receive china, and that is very nice, very pretty porcelain plates or just lacquerware.
Okay, so you can call it chinaware, which is basically plates that are either very fine ceramic or porcelain, as you said.
That's right.
Or what was the other word that you said before?
Lacquerware. Lacquerware is a certain kind of plate or ceramic that has a kind of sheen to it. It's got a special kind of basically paint job.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it's always been kind of strange, the fact that a name like China would also now be related to plates, but apparently, I guess because Chinese porcelain is renowned as being such high quality, I guess this is why now we just have a word for it called china or chinaware.
I think it actually has to do with the fact that the Chinese in the old days most of the British bought their porcelain from China. And so it was very, very in vogue. It was very popular. And it was basically the only thing that the British wanted. They just wanted all of this china. And it became a part of the vocabulary then.
Yeah, it's really strange, though, that you would call something China. It's like, I don't know any other country that you call something, like French. This is a French. Or Frenchware. Sure. I don't know. I can't think of any.
Limoges is the name of a city in France, and it's a certain kind of ceramics.
Oh, there you go. All right, so an interesting topic. There are many other tools that we didn't mention, like salad fork and ice cream spoon. I don't know. There's so many. Sometimes if you go to a fancy dinner, you will have maybe 3 spoons, 3 knives, 3 forks, and you don't know what to do with it.
Start on the outside and go in. That's my one recommendation.
Exactly. So we're really curious to know what you have to say. Come to our website, englishpod.com. If you have any questions, you can leave them there. Or if you also want to suggest a topic for a lesson or anything you want, just let us know.
All right, we'll see you then.
All right, bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Prepare the table so as to sit down and eat. To set the table. Anything specific. Anything in particular. Eating utensils, fork, spoon, knife. Silverware. To bake uncovered, especially in an oven. To roast. A dish used for serving food. Serving dish.
Let's try that faster.
Anything specific. Anything in particular. Eating utensils, fork, spoon, knife. Silverware. Prepare the table so as to sit down and eat. To set the table. To bake uncovered, especially in an oven. To roast. A dish used for serving food. Serving dish.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
To set the table. Everyone knows that the proper way to set a table is to turn the knife towards the dish and not away from it. To set the table. Kids, supper is almost ready, so please set the table and call your dad. To set the table. I think I will set the table with our crystal glasses for our guest tonight. Anything in particular? I'm not looking for anything in particular, just browsing. Anything in particular? Did you want anything in particular for your birthday? Anything in particular? Is there anything in particular I can do to help you clean up? Silverware. She brought out her good silverware for the dinner party. Silverware. The only drawback of having silverware made of real silver is that it tarnishes easily. Silverware. He polished the silverware before every use. To roast. He roasted the beef until it was tender. To roast. She tossed some vegetables in a pan, then put them in the oven to roast. To roast. The turkey took most of the day to roast, but it was well worth the wait. Serving dish. The guests admired the creative arrangement of cheese and crackers on the serving dish. Serving dish. Can you put the stir fry into a serving dish and then place it on the table for me? Serving dish. My aunt and uncle gave me a beautiful clay serving dish as a wedding gift.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and today we have an elementary level lesson for you.
That's right. We are going to talk about winter, but specifically about the clothes you wear during winter when it's very, very cold outside.
That's right. And I hear you're not too familiar with some of these practices because where you come from, you don't really have winter.
We don't have winter. We have dry season and rainy season, but same temperature.
Well, Chicago definitely has a snowy season, so I'm very familiar with these things. So let's jump right into today's dialogue. We'll be hearing it one time, and in a minute, we'll be back to talk about it.
Bye, Mom.
Wait, Jimmy, it's cold outside. Put a hat on.
Okay, bye.
No, wait, you'll be too cold without mittens.
All right, see ya.
Hold on, with that wind, you're going to catch a cold. Wear this scarf.
Okay, see you after school.
Oh, and earmuffs. Put these on. Here we go.
Mom,
Yes, honey?
I can't breathe.
All right, we're back. So there were a couple of different items of clothing that we saw in this dialogue. So let's look at them now in language takeaway.
Language takeaway.
Okay, well, first of all, we have Mom and Jimmy. Jimmy is a boy's name. He's a little boy. And Mom is saying goodbye to him, but first she wants him to put on clothes. So the first item, the first thing she asks him to put on is a hat.
A hat. Now, you probably have seen like a baseball cap or many different types of hats. And sometimes in other languages, they have specific names for a hat for winter, right? But in English, it's a hat.
anything that covers your head is a hat. That's
Okay.
kind of like the category.
So maybe this one is a warm wool hat, but it's in the end, it's a hat.
It's a hat.
Okay. So he's put on the hat. Now what else is he going to put on?
Well, we need to keep our fingers warm. Okay, so there are two kinds of ways to keep your fingers warm, and the way in this dialogue that the boy keeps his fingers warm is with mittens.
All right. So mittens you put on your hands. Now what's the difference between mittens and gloves?
Okay, gloves have special places for each finger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on each hand.
Right.
And mittens, there's 2 spaces, one for your thumb and one for all your other fingers.
Okay.
Okay, so that means you can't really hold things.
So you kind of look like a penguin or something like that.
Yeah, you look like exactly, like a penguin. And it's mostly for children. Adults don't wear mittens because adults need to hold things like keys and
Right.
phones and car steering wheels. So in this case, mittens is usually for children.
Okay. So mittens, and well, the mother is still a little bit worried, so she tells him to wear a scarf.
Okay, a scarf is a long, usually made of wool, a long piece of fabric that you put around your neck to keep your neck warm.
Okay, so a scarf.
A scarf.
Okay, and he's put on the mittens, the scarf, the hat, and he's missing some ear muffs.
Okay, this is a little funny because usually if you're wearing a hat, you don't need earmuffs. But earmuffs are like headphones, but they keep your ears warm.
Right.
And we wear these, they don't cover your head, they just cover your ears. And usually they're just 2 round circles over your ears.
So as you say, exactly, they look like big earphones, and they keep your ears warm. Now, as you say, you usually don't wear this if you're wearing a hat because, well, you would put your ears inside your hat, right?
So it looks pretty silly if he's wearing all of this together.
All right. And so those 4 key items, those 4 key pieces of clothing are for our language takeaway today. Why don't we listen to this dialogue again, and we'll come back soon to talk about Fluency Builder.
Bye, Mom.
Wait, Jimmy, it's cold outside. Put a hat on.
Okay, bye.
No, wait, you'll be too cold without mittens.
All right, see ya.
Hold on, with that wind, you're going to catch a cold. Wear this scarf.
Okay, see you after school.
Oh, and earmuffs. Put these on. Here we go.
Mom,
Yes, honey?
I can't breathe.
All right, we're back. So now let's take a look at 4 key phrases on Fluency Builder.
Fluency Builder.
Okay, this first phrase, as I said before, has to do with the mom and the boy saying goodbye to each other. So he says, all right, see ya.
See ya.
Yeah.
Okay, so see as in to look, to, right? You
Yeah.
see something. And what about Y-A? Yeah. See ya.
So this is a very spoken language way of saying you. So we could say, see you later. But if you want to make it shorter, you can say, see ya.
See ya. Bye.
Bye. Goodbye.
All right, so see ya. And then what's our next way of saying goodbye?
Hold on.
Oh, wait, that's...
We're not there yet. No. Hold on is our next phrase. And this is a way to say, wait.
Wait, hold on. So you just say hold on, it means wait. It's not really rude, right? It's just a little bit more casual.
Exactly. It's very casual. So you cannot say, hold. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
You have to use these 2 words together. Hold on.
on.
Like I said before with Marco, who wants to go fast, I could say, hold on.
Hold on.
Wait a second.
All right. Okay, so hold on, see ya. And now you gotta be careful because you're going to catch a cold. To catch a cold.
Okay, so a cold is when when you cough, you have a sore throat, it's starting to get cold outside and you don't feel well. Okay, so you have a runny nose. It's a illness. And most people get this every year. It's very common. But you don't get a cold, you catch a cold. Okay?
Okay.
So catch is the same word we use for when we talk about sports, like throwing and catching.
Okay.
It's almost like it just hits you. It's so fast. You just catch a cold.
So that's really important what you just said because you don't use the verb get. You don't get a cold. You catch a cold. Or if you say that you were sick last week because you had a cold, you would say, oh, I caught a cold or I had a cold.
Exactly. So remember, present tense, I catch a cold. Past tense, I caught a cold last week.
Okay. And our last phrase for Fluency Builder is here we go. Here we go.
Okay, so when do we hear this phrase? The mother says to the boy, put these on. Here we go. So she's doing something with him. She's helping him put his earmuffs on. And here we go is a way to say, okay, I've finished. Okay, I'm done. Okay, your earmuffs are on you now.
So you're ready. Here you go.
Here you go.
Right, so we say here we go, like everything is ready, your earmuffs are on.
Exactly. So maybe I'm on my computer and I have a problem and I'm waiting. And you know when the bar is loading and finally, ding, it's ready. Here we go.
Here we go, it's
now
ready.
I can start. It's ready.
Or sometimes a waitress will come and serve you food and say, here we go, here's your order.
Exactly. So this is a way to say what you've been waiting for. It's ready now.
Okay, great. So I think it's time for us to listen to this dialogue one last time before we come back.
Here we go.
Bye, Mom.
Wait, Jimmy, it's cold outside. Put a hat on.
Okay, bye.
No, wait, you'll be too cold without mittens.
All right, see ya.
Hold on, with that wind you're gonna catch a cold. Wear this scarf.
Okay, see you after school.
Oh, and earmuffs. Put these on. Here we go.
Mom,
Yes, honey?
I can't breathe.
All right, we're back. So as you mentioned, in Chicago, it's very, very cold. So I imagine you had all of these winter clothes, right?
That's right. And it's funny because I remember being a small child and my mother doing this to me, putting on snow pants and boots and earmuffs and hats and gloves and scarves. And all of a sudden, it's so hot inside because you're wearing everything. And so you can't even walk. Like you were saying, you look like a penguin walking out the door. And then you get to school and you're sweating, right? And so in school, we had a special room and we had to take everything off because there's snow everywhere.
Right.
And snow can be very dangerous because it melts and it turns into water. Okay, so I have very strong memories of all of this, putting them on, taking them off, and just being warm all the time.
Well, yeah, when it's cold or you live in a place with cold weather, you have to have these items of clothing because otherwise you might catch a cold.
Exactly. So I hope that no one out there catches a cold, but if you want some suggestions, wear a scarf, cover your neck. That's the most important. Your head and your scarf are the most important.
All right. And if you guys have any other questions or comments, you can visit our website, englishpod.com, and we'll see everyone there.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
Hand covering, separating thumb from fingers. Mitten. Stop. Wait. Hold on. A long, narrow piece of cloth worn around the neck. Scarf. A warm, tubular covering for the ears. Ear muff. Name you call someone you love. Honey. Head covering. Hat.
Let's try that faster.
Hand covering, separating thumb from fingers. Mitten. Name you call someone you love. Honey. A long, narrow piece of cloth worn around the neck. Scarf. Head covering. Hat. Stop. Wait. Hold on. A warm, tubular covering for the ears. Ear muff.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
Mitten. For Christmas, his grandmother gave him a pair of mittens that she made herself. Mitten. I like mittens more than gloves because my fingers can keep each other warm. Mitten. My friend has a pair of mittens with snowflake designs on top. Hold on. Can you hold on a second while I tie my shoelaces? Hold on. Hold on. Are those cookie crumbs I see on your sweater? Hold on. Just hold on a minute. I just need to check my emails. Scarf. His scarf was so long that he could wrap it around his neck 3 times. Scarf. Some people wear scarves in the summer or indoors as a fashion accessory. Scarf. My mom wears silk scarves when she gets dressed up, and wool scarves when she needs to go out in the cold. Ear muff. When I was a child, I used to wear earmuffs all the time, but now that I'm a teenager, I don't wear them because they're not cool. Ear muff. I was in a store the other day, and they were selling rainbow earmuffs and leopard print earmuffs and all kinds of other neat designs. Ear muff. My best friend has a pair of earmuffs that he wears all the time. Honey. Hey, honey, I'm home. Honey. Evan, honey, can you deliver this plate of cookies to the neighbors? honey. Honey, what's wrong? Why are you upset?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to English Pod. My name is Marco.
My name is Catherine, and we're on the road today. We're traveling a little bit.
That's right. Today we have a lesson that was requested by one of our users, and I think it's a very handy lesson. If we're traveling, we are buying tickets at a train station.
That's right. So I personally love traveling by train. I think it's a very romantic way to see different countries, different places. We're going to learn all about how to get tickets and how to talk about different parts of a train. So let's first listen to our dialogue.
Hi, I would like to purchase a one-way ticket to Brussels, please.
Certainly, sir. This is our train schedule. We have an express train departing every morning and an overnight train that departs at 9 p.m.
How long does it take to get there?
About 12 hours. We currently have tickets available only for first class on the express train. If you'd like, you can choose a sleeper on the overnight train, which is a bit less expensive.
Yeah, I think that's the best option. Do you serve food on a train? 12 hours is such a long time.
Yes, of course. There is a dining car towards the end of the train where they serve meals at all times. We do provide complimentary water and coffee for all of our passengers.
Great, I'll take it.
Here you are, sir. Your train leaves from platform number 9 at 9 on the dot. Remember to be here at least 30 minutes before your scheduled departure time, or else you might miss your train.
I understand. Thank you very much.
Have a great trip.
All right, we're back. So now we're going to take a look at a couple of words that we've picked out for you on Language Takeaway.
Language takeaway.
So there are many different kinds of tickets you can purchase, you can buy for your train journey. The first kind we're going to talk about is maybe the fastest. This is called an express train.
That's right. So as the name says, it's an express train. That means it's a very fast train. And it depends, because in different places, sometimes they call it the fast train, sometimes they call it the express train. But basically the idea is that it's a very fast train.
And it's fast usually because it stops very few times. For example, if we want to go on the Paris to Berlin train, it won't stop in every single town. It will probably only stop a couple of times.
Exactly. So apart from the express trains that usually they'll go in the daytime, we have an overnight train.
Overnight trains are very fun, or at least they can be fun if you have a comfortable place to sleep. Basically, the idea is you get on the train at night and you sleep on the train and you get off in the morning.
That's right. It's actually a very popular way of traveling, especially if you're on a budget, because, well, you're basically saving yourself one night of spending the night at a hotel.
That's right. So you're going to have to find a place to sleep if you're taking the overnight train. There are usually different options. The most uncomfortable is usually a seat, like a hard seat. But there are oftentimes special cars on a train where you can sleep for these overnight trips. What are those called?
That's right. And those are called sleeper cars, or you choose a sleeper seat.
Right, so that's pretty easy to remember. Sleeper. The sleeper seats are the seats that fold back like you're lying down. But of course, most places like China and India and Vietnam, for example, have actual cars that have beds in them.
Right, yeah. So you can, as the name says, you can actually sleep on this train. Now, if you're going to buy tickets, you're not going to find a sleeper train on an express train or a train that travels during the day. These are only available at night, usually.
That's right. So sleeper car is what you want to look for if you're traveling overnight. And in those cases, you oftentimes get hungry. You need to eat. So where do you go to eat?
That's right. We're going to look for the dining car on the train.
Okay, so think about the word dining room. Dining room, dining car, this means the place where you eat.
That's right. So we're going to look for a dining car, and it's usually in the front of the train, I think, and you can just go and get a quick meal over there.
That's right, dining car. And finally, we have another very important word here. It's all about getting on and off the train. So where do you do that?
Well, you go to the platform, the specific platform where your train is leaving. So in this case, this guy has to go to platform number 9.
Okay, so usually that means that there is a cement or a stone block where you stand, the train comes to the station, people get off, you get on. So the place where that all happens is the platform.
That's right. So remember that in airplanes or in airports, usually you look for a terminal. For train stations, you're looking for a platform.
All right, and that number is going to be very important. So look at your ticket and find out which platform your train will be arriving or departing from.
That's right. Okay, so now why don't we review these words? Let's listen to the dialogue again, and we'll be back in a bit.
Hi, I would like to purchase a one-way ticket to Brussels, please.
Certainly, sir. This is our train schedule. We have an express train departing every morning and an overnight train that departs at 9 p.m.
How long does it take to get there?
About 12 hours. We currently have tickets available only for first class on the express train. If you'd like, you can choose a sleeper on the overnight train, which is a bit less expensive.
Yeah, I think that's the best option. Do you serve food on the train? 12 hours is such a long time.
Yes, of course. There is a dining car towards the end of the train where they serve meals at all times. We do provide complimentary water and coffee for all of our passengers.
Great. I'll take it.
Here you are, sir. Your train leaves from platform number 9 at 9 on the dot. Remember to be here at least 30 minutes before your scheduled departure time, or else you might miss your train.
I understand. Thank you very much.
Have a great trip.
Okay, so we've got some really great phrases today on Fluency Builder. Not that many of them, but they're very useful. The first one is a kind of ticket you can buy.
That's right. We're looking for a one-way ticket to Brussels.
Okay, so a one-way ticket means you go to Brussels, but you don't come home. Maybe you have a flight later, or you have a car waiting for you. You don't need a return ticket on that train. One-way ticket is the opposite of a round-trip ticket.
That's right. So usually, for example, if you live in New York and you're going on vacation, you're going to buy a round-trip ticket because you need to go back to your city. But in this case, we're getting a one-way ticket, so we're just buying a ticket that'll only take us there. It's not going to bring us back.
Okay, one-way ticket. And after that, we have a good question. This is something we can ask in many, many different situations. Here, the person buying the ticket wants to know, how long does it take to get there? He's talking about Brussels.
That's right. So let's take a look at this structure. We can say, how long does it take to... And then we can add another verb there. So, for example, we want to know the amount of time it is going to require. For example, here we are asking how long does it take to get there, in this case, to Brussels. We are asking how much time is needed to go to Brussels. But what if we change the last part?
Well, there's anything. We could say anything here. We could say, how long does it take to bake a pizza? Or, for example... Marco, how long does it take for you to do your hair in the morning?
Like 20 seconds.
Okay, not very long.
Not very long.
You could even change the name of the place you're going to. So how long does it take to get to Beijing?
Exactly. So just remember this structure when you want to ask the amount of time needed. Of course, there are other ways, and sometimes it's very common to make a little bit of mistake saying, how much time to Beijing or something like this.
Or how many hours. We don't really say that in English. We say how much time. So how much time does it take?
All right. And what about when when the person that's selling the ticket said, okay, the train leaves from platform number 9 at 9 on the dot.
Okay, so I'm not really sure where this idea of a dot comes from, but I think it has to do with clocks. So basically, when you look at a clock and all of a sudden the hand comes to 12, so it's 9 o'clock, the hand is on the 12, that is on the dot. That means exactly.
Okay, so the train is leaving at 9:00, not 9:30, not 9:15. It's leaving exactly at 9 o'clock.
So we can also say this in normal speech when we're talking to our friends. I could say, Marco, we're going to leave at 6 on the dot. Any later and we'll miss the movie.
Exactly. So, but when you say on the dot, you're usually emphasizing that it leaves promptly. It's not going to be late, and you're kind of emphasizing a person to be on time.
Yes, please don't be late, because so 9:01, or in my case 6:01, Oh, 4, these are not okay because they're too late.
Exactly. So if I say I'm going to pick you up at 4 o'clock on the dot, it usually means I don't really want to wait. So please be ready at 4.
All right. So on the dot.
All right. So now let's listen to our dialogue for the last time, and we'll be back to talk with you a little bit more.
Hi, I would like to purchase a one-way ticket to Brussels, please.
Certainly, sir. This is our train schedule. We have an express train departing every morning and an overnight train that departs at 9 p.m.
How long does it take to get there?
About 12 hours. We currently have tickets available only for first class on the express train. If you'd like, you can choose a sleeper on the overnight train, which is a bit less expensive.
Yeah, I think that's the best option. Do you serve food on the train? 12 hours is such a long time.
Yes, of course. There is a dining car towards the end of the train where they serve meals at all times. We do provide complimentary water and coffee for all of our passengers.
Great, I'll take it.
Here you are, sir. Your train leaves from platform number 9 at 9 on the dot. Remember to be here at least 30 minutes before your scheduled departure time, or else you might miss your train.
I understand. Thank you very much.
Have a great trip.
All right. So you mentioned you really like to travel on trains.
I do.
Why is that?
Well, I like that trains are kind of slow. So when many trains are slow. Some trains, as we said, like express trains are faster. But if you're traveling in a new place, it's a wonderful way to see the country. Because maybe you're going from one city to another city. Well, it's nice to see what's in between cities.
Exactly.
And so that's why I like to be on trains.
I actually also really enjoy taking the overnight trains because I sometimes get a little bit uncomfortable if I travel for too long, for example, on an airplane or a car. So if I fall asleep and I wake up where I wanted to go, it's really nice.
Well, and I think it's nice also to be kind of rolled asleep, lulled asleep
Exactly.
by the train. Have you had any like very memorable train experiences?
Traveling around, I have met some interesting people, and actually they, local people, so they start talking to you and really curious because obviously you're a foreigner in their country and try to get to know you and maybe even give you a little bit of advice. And if you don't speak the language, it's even a little bit more interesting because you're trying to communicate and you pick up a lot of words.
That's true. I actually heard some really interesting stories from people who took the Trans-Siberian Railway from Beijing to Moscow. They said the more vodka you drink, the more foreign languages you speak. So I don't know if any of our users have done that. You guys should let us know if you have any fun train travel experiences.
At the train station, arriving at the station. When people need to travel by train, they first arrive at the train station. The station is a busy place where people come and go. Some people are traveling to another city, and some are coming back home. When a person arrives at the train station, they need to check the train schedule. The schedule shows the time when each train will leave and arrive. It also shows the platform number where the train will be. At the station, there are many signs to help people find their way. There are signs for ticket counters, waiting areas, restrooms, and exits. If someone does not know where to go, they can ask for help. Many train stations have information desks where workers can answer questions. Some people buy their train tickets online before coming to the station. Others buy tickets at the ticket counter or from a ticket machine. After getting the ticket, they must check the platform number and be ready to board the train on time. If they arrive late, they might miss the train. The train station is often full of sounds. People talk, train announcements play on speakers, and the trains make noise as they arrive and leave. Travelers must listen carefully to hear important information about their train. Arriving at the train station is the first step in a train journey. Knowing where to go, checking the schedule, and having a ticket ready can help travelers have a smooth and easy trip. Buying a ticket. Before getting on a train, a traveler needs to buy a ticket. There are different ways to buy a train ticket, and each way has its own steps. Some people like to buy their tickets online before they come to the train station. This is a good choice because it saves time. They can buy the ticket on a website or a mobile app, pay with a credit card, and then receive a digital ticket on their phone. When they arrive at the station, they do not need to wait in line. They just show their digital ticket to the station staff or scan it at the entrance. Other travelers prefer to buy their tickets at the train station.
There are two common ways to do this: buying from a ticket counter or using a ticket machine. Many large train stations have a ticket counter where people can talk to a staff member. The traveler tells the worker where they want to go, what time they want to travel, and what kind of ticket they need. The staff member checks the train schedule and gives the traveler a ticket after they pay. If the traveler is not sure which train to take, they can ask questions and get advice. Ticket machines are another option. These machines are usually near the entrance of the station. Travelers can choose their destination, date, and time on a screen. The machine shows different ticket options, including first class or second class seats, one-way or round-trip tickets, and different prices. After choosing the ticket, the traveler pays with cash, a credit card, or a debit card. The machine then prints the ticket. This method is quick, but it can be confusing for people who are not familiar with the machine. If someone does not know how to use it, they can ask a staff member for help. Some train stations also have special cards or passes for frequent travelers. In some countries, people who take the train often can buy a monthly or yearly pass. This pass lets them travel many times without buying a new ticket each time. Other travelers might use a prepaid card that they can load with money. When they enter the station, they scan the card and the fare is deducted automatically. After buying the ticket, the traveler should check the details carefully. They should look at the date, time, destination, and seat number if one is assigned. Some tickets also have a barcode or QR code that needs to be scanned before entering the platform. If there is a mistake on the ticket, it is important to fix it before boarding the train. Buying a ticket is an important step in train travel. Whether buying online, at a counter, or from a machine, travelers must choose the right ticket for their trip. Checking the ticket information and understanding how the process works can make traveling by train easier and less stressful. Waiting for the train. After buying a ticket, the traveler needs to wait for their train. Depending on the train schedule, the waiting time can be short or long. Some travelers arrive early to avoid missing their train, while others might have to wait because of a delay. During this time, passengers need to be aware of their train's departure time, platform number, and any announcements about changes. Most train stations have a waiting area for passengers. In smaller stations, the waiting area might be just a few benches, but in larger stations, there can be a big hall with many seats. Some stations even have special waiting rooms for people with first-class tickets or passengers traveling long distances. In cold weather, indoor waiting areas help passengers stay warm, while in hot weather, air-conditioned waiting rooms can make the wait more comfortable. While waiting, passengers should keep checking the train schedule. Train stations usually have large electronic boards that show train departure times, destinations, and platform numbers. These boards update regularly, so travelers must pay attention in case their train's platform changes or if there is a delay. Some stations also make announcements over loudspeakers to inform passengers about train arrivals and departures. If a traveler does not understand the announcement, they can check the schedule board or ask a station staff member for help. Many travelers use the waiting time to relax or do other activities. Some people read books, listen to music, or use their phones to pass the time. Others buy snacks or drinks from shops inside the station. Large train stations often have small restaurants, cafes, or vending machines where passengers can get something to eat before their trip. Some people also take this time to use the restroom, withdraw money from an ATM, or buy something from a convenience store. At busy train stations, travelers need to be careful with their belongings. Many people move through the station, and it is easy to lose a bag or forget something. Passengers should keep an eye on their luggage and not leave their things unattended. Some stations have lockers where travelers can store their bags if they have a long wait before their train arrives. This is useful for people who want to walk around the station without carrying heavy bags. For passengers traveling with children, waiting can be difficult because young children may become bored. Some larger stations have play areas for kids, while others have family-friendly seating areas. Parents often bring small toys, books, or snacks to keep their children entertained. If a train is delayed, passengers need to be patient. Train delays can happen due to weather conditions, technical problems, or other reasons. In some cases, the station provides updated information about the new departure time. If a traveler is unsure about what to do, they can ask for assistance at the information desk. Waiting for a train is a normal part of train travel. It is important to stay alert, check for updates, and make good use of the waiting time. Whether reading, eating, or simply watching people move through the station, passengers can find ways to stay comfortable while they wait. Boarding the train. When it is time to board the train, travelers need to be prepared. Boarding a train is different from boarding an airplane or a bus. Passengers must pay attention to the platform number, listen for announcements, and make sure they are at the right place before the train arrives. Some people feel nervous about boarding, especially if the station is busy or if they are unfamiliar with the process. However, knowing what to do can make the experience easier and less stressful. Before heading to the platform, travelers should check their ticket one more time. The ticket usually has important information such as the train number, departure time, and assigned seat, if there is one. Many stations have automated ticket gates where passengers scan their tickets or prepaid cards before entering the platform area. If there are no ticket gates, station staff might check tickets before allowing people onto the platform. Some train stations allow passengers to go directly to the platform without checking tickets, but in this case, conductors check tickets inside the train. Once passengers enter the platform area, they must find the correct platform. Large train stations have many platforms, and each train leaves from a specific one. Signs and electronic boards help travelers find the right place. Sometimes, two trains arrive at the same platform but go in different directions. Passengers must carefully check the destination and train number to make sure they are getting on the correct train. As the train approaches, passengers usually hear an announcement or see a message on a display board. Some stations have automatic safety gates that only open when the train stops. In places without gates, passengers should stand behind a yellow or white safety line on the platform to avoid accidents. If the train is crowded, people might form a line to board in an orderly way. In some countries, there are specific areas marked on the platform where train doors will stop, helping passengers know where to stand. When the train stops, the doors open, and passengers inside the train get off first. It is polite to let people exit before entering. After passengers leave, the new travelers can board. Some trains have specific doors for first-class passengers, while others have open seating, allowing anyone to sit anywhere. If a traveler has a reserved seat, they should find their seat number inside the train. If the train does not have assigned seats, they need to find an available spot quickly. For passengers carrying large bags, finding a place for luggage is important. Many trains have overhead racks for small bags and suitcases. Long-distance trains often have special luggage areas near the doors or between seats. Passengers should store their bags securely to prevent them from falling or blocking the aisle. Keeping valuables in a personal bag or backpack is a good idea to prevent theft. In busy train stations, the boarding process can be fast. Trains often stop for only a few minutes before leaving again. Travelers must move quickly, but stay calm to avoid confusion. If someone is unsure where to go, they can ask a train conductor or another passenger for help. In some cases, last-minute passengers must run to catch the train before the doors close. However, it is better to arrive early and board in a relaxed way. Once passengers are on the train, they should settle into their seats and prepare for the journey. Some people take out their tickets in case the conductor comes to check them. Others adjust their bags, put on headphones, or take out a book to read. If the train is a high-speed or long-distance train, there may be onboard services such as food carts, Wi-Fi, or restrooms. Boarding a train is an important step in the journey. Being prepared, knowing where to go, and staying alert can help travelers get on the train smoothly. Whether taking a short trip to a nearby town or a long journey to another city, passengers should make sure they are in the right place at the right time so they can enjoy their trip without stress. Inside the train. After boarding the train, passengers settle into their seats and prepare for the journey ahead. Being inside a train is a unique experience, different from traveling by car, bus, or airplane. Some trains are quiet and comfortable, while others are busy and full of people. Whether traveling a short distance or going on a long trip, passengers need to know what to expect inside the train and how to behave properly. Once seated, travelers should check their tickets to make sure they are in the right seat, especially if the train has assigned seating. Many trains have seat numbers displayed above or next to the seats. If a passenger sits in the wrong place, they may have to move when the rightful passenger arrives. On some trains, there are no assigned seats, and travelers can sit anywhere. In this case, people try to find an available spot as quickly as possible. For those carrying luggage, it is important to store it properly. Small bags can usually be placed on overhead racks above the seats. Larger suitcases may need to be placed in designated luggage areas, usually near the train doors. Some people prefer to keep their bags close to them for security reasons, especially when carrying valuable items like laptops, wallets, or passports. During the journey, train conductors or ticket inspectors often walk through the train to check tickets. Passengers should have their tickets ready to show. If someone has bought a digital ticket on their phone, they need to make sure their phone has enough battery to display it. Some trains use QR codes or barcodes that the conductor scans. If a traveler has the wrong ticket or is in the wrong seat, they may have to move or buy a new ticket. Inside the train, passengers should be considerate of others. Many people use the time to read, listen to music, work on their laptops, or simply look out the window. Speaking in a low voice is polite, especially on long-distance trains where people might want to rest. Some trains have quiet cars where talking is not allowed. If a person wants to make a phone call, they should do it quietly or move to a designated area near the train doors. Some trains offer services to make the journey more comfortable. High-speed and long-distance trains often have dining cars or food carts that sell snacks, drinks, and meals. On these trains, passengers can walk to the dining car and order food or wait for a train attendant to bring a food cart to their seat. Some people bring their own food, especially on longer trips, but they should be careful not to bring strong-smelling food that might bother other passengers. For entertainment, passengers can use their phones, tablets, or books. Many modern trains have Wi-Fi, allowing people to browse the internet, watch movies, or send messages. Some trains also have power outlets near the seats so that travelers can charge their devices. However, not all trains have these features, so it is a good idea to bring a fully charged phone or an extra battery pack. Restrooms are available on most trains, especially those that travel long distances. These restrooms are usually small but useful. It is important to use them properly and leave them clean for the next person. Some high-speed and luxury trains have larger, more comfortable restrooms with sinks and mirrors. For passengers traveling overnight or on very long trips, some trains have sleeping cars with beds. These trains allow people to lie down and rest during the journey. There are different types of sleeping compartments, from shared spaces with several beds to private cabins. This makes long-distance travel more comfortable, especially for those who want to sleep before reaching their destination. As the train moves, passengers can look out the window and enjoy the view. Some train routes pass through beautiful landscapes, including mountains, rivers, and small villages. For many travelers, watching the scenery is one of the best parts of train travel. Some people also take photos or record videos to remember their journey. When the train is close to a station, an announcement is usually made to let passengers know they are arriving. Some travelers need to change trains at another station, while others are getting off at their final stop. It is important to listen carefully and get ready before the train stops. Those with heavy luggage should make sure they have enough time to collect their bags before getting off. Being inside a train can be a relaxing and enjoyable experience if passengers are well prepared and follow the rules. Whether taking a short trip or traveling for many hours, knowing what to do inside the train helps make the journey smooth and pleasant. Arriving at the destination. As the train nears its destination, passengers must prepare to get off. This may seem simple, but there are several things to keep in mind to ensure a smooth exit. Some travelers may feel rushed, especially if the station is crowded or if they have a lot of luggage. Others might not be sure where to go after leaving the train. Understanding what to do upon arrival can make the experience much easier. Before reaching the station, passengers should check their belongings. It is easy to forget something, especially small items like phones, wallets, or travel tickets. Many people place their bags under the seat, in overhead compartments, or in luggage storage areas, so they need to double-check these places. Some travelers also leave jackets or personal items on their seats by mistake. It is always a good idea to do a final check before leaving. Train stations usually announce upcoming stops a few minutes before arrival. This announcement may be made over speakers, displayed on digital screens, or both. Passengers should listen carefully to ensure they do not miss their stop. In some cases, especially on local trains, there are no announcements, so travelers must pay attention to station signs outside the train windows. If someone is unsure whether they are at the right stop, they can ask another passenger or a train conductor. When the train slows down, passengers begin preparing to exit. Those with heavy or large bags should be ready to carry them quickly, especially if the stop is short. Some train doors open automatically, while others require passengers to press a button or pull a handle. If the doors do not open immediately, it is best to wait calmly instead of pushing or rushing. Exiting the train can be crowded, especially at busy stations. Passengers should follow the flow of people and move towards the exit without blocking others. If someone is traveling with children or elderly family members, they should hold hands or stay close together to avoid getting separated in the crowd. In large stations, there are often multiple exits, so travelers should check signs to find the right way. After stepping off the train, the next step is leaving the platform. Some stations have ticket barriers that require passengers to scan their tickets before exiting. If a traveler has a digital ticket, they should have their phone ready. If they used a prepaid travel card, they may need to tap it at the exit gate. In stations without barriers, people can walk directly to the main part of the station. Once inside the station, travelers may need to find their next connection. Some passengers take another train to continue their journey. In this case, they need to check the departure boards for platform information and schedule updates. If they have only a few minutes between trains, they should move quickly to avoid missing their connection. For those who have reached their final destination, the next step depends on their plans. Some people meet friends or family at the station, while others need to find transportation to their hotel or home. Most large train stations have taxi stands, bus stops, and metro connections nearby. Travelers should follow the signs to the correct transportation option. If they are unsure where to go, they can ask for help at an information desk. Many stations have services for travelers who need extra assistance. Some offer luggage carts or porters to help with heavy bags. Others have special services for elderly or disabled passengers, such as elevators, ramps, or staff assistants. If someone needs help, it is best to ask in advance or check online before arriving at the station. Some travelers like to explore the train station before leaving. Large stations often have restaurants, cafes, and souvenir shops. If someone has time, they may choose to eat a meal, buy a gift, or simply rest before continuing their journey. In international train stations, travelers may also need to go through customs or passport control before leaving the station. After leaving the train station, the journey continues. Whether arriving in a new city for a vacation, returning home, or meeting friends, stepping off the train is the final part of the travel experience. Being prepared, following signs, and staying aware of surroundings can help passengers exit the train station smoothly and enjoy the rest of their trip.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
A ticket that allows you only to go to a certain place. One-way ticket. To leave, start a voyage. Depart. A flat elevated portion of ground. Platform. On time, precisely at a certain time. On the dot. Planned at a specific time to leave. Scheduled departure time.
Let's try that faster.
To leave, start a voyage. Depart. Planned at a specific time to leave. Scheduled departure time. A flat elevated portion of ground. Platform. A ticket that allows you only to go to a certain place. One-way ticket. On time, precisely at a certain time. On the dot.
Now say the word and hear it in a sentence.
One-way ticket. I have a one-way ticket to Paris and have no plans on ever coming back to North America.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for listening. Good luck in your interviews. And until next time, goodbye.
The English Pod Audio Review. Listen to the meaning, then say the vocabulary word.
The right person for the job.
Perfect fit.
The ability to think clearly and make good decisions.
Acumen.
Be superior to, among the best.
Excel.
To be the leader of something.
Head.
To make something active or effective.
Implement.
A meeting where people acquire skills and knowledge about a subject.
Training session.
Have a difficult time.
Struggle.
Arriving or doing something at the expected or planned time.
Punctuality.
To deal with a matter, issue, problem, etc.
Address.
To select a few candidates in order to make a final selection or decision.
Short list.
Someone or something that is likely to succeed or to be chosen.
Prospect.
Curriculum vitae, a short document that describes your education, work experience, etc.
CV.
A weakness that someone has.
Shortcoming.
A valuable or beneficial thing or ability that a person has.
Asset.
A great success or achievement a person has. Triumph.
Let's try that faster.
The right person for the job.
Perfect fit.
Arriving or doing something at the expected or planned time.
Punctuality.
A meeting where people acquire skills and knowledge about a subject.
Training session.
A great success or achievement a person has.